Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefebvre, and today we're going to be talking about using white watercolor and painting some easy spring florals. So let's jump right in and start. Okay, so today we are going to be doing a floral painting, but we are going to be focusing on using white watercolor. So I don't tend to use white watercolor. I never really have. That's not the way I was taught. Some artists are very particular about using white watercolor and are against it and will tell you that's not really the pure way to use it because watercolor is a transparent medium and white watercolor paint tends to make it a bit more opaque. So some people will be very against it and tell you not to do it. But I'm here to tell you, you can do whatever you want. And I'm going to show you how I would use it and maybe the benefits of using it. And we're just going to talk about it while we paint. So traditionally, when painting with acrylic or oil, if you want to lighten a color, you will add white paint. In watercolor, because it's a transparent medium, you use water to lighten a color. However, you can also use white paint, but it does kind of change the look of things. So I'm going to be showing you that while we paint. This palette is just kind of one of my side ceramic palettes that have some of my favorite colors in it. They are all Winsor & Newton professional watercolors, even the white. Today I'm going to be painting on Paul Rubens 100% cotton watercolor paper, and I have my Emma Lefebvre Craftimo brushes with me, and we're just going to do a fun little spring painting, but adding white to all of our colors. Okay, so I want to do a painting that I did in my sketchbook. It's actually on my Instagram from a little while back, maybe a week or two. So a lot of people seem to like it, so we're going to do that. I'm just going to take some permanent rose. We're going to do like 3 Cosmo looking flowers. I'm going to take some more permanent rose and put it over here. And then I'm going to take some yellow and add it to this one so it could be a bit more peachy, like so. I'm just going to mix all my colors first, and I'm going to add some white. This white is actually fresh white out of the tube because I realized I didn't have any. So I got some from the tube, so it's not hardened like I usually use my watercolors. Add some white to it, and you can see it makes it nice and like pastel colored, but it also makes it pretty opaque. Okay, so there's our 2 peaches. We're going to even do the same thing with our greens. So I'm going to grab some olive green, which is like one of my new favorite paint colors that I have. We're going to use olive green. We're also going to use some perline green, which I'm going to mix with white as well, I think. I'm going to grab some white. Make it more like a eucalyptus-y kind of sagey color, like so. And I think we're ready to start. Okay. So we're going to start by creating 3 kind of like Cosmo looking flowers. So I'm just going to, and it's going to be rough, and we're going to do kind of like a background to it too. So I'm just going to do 1 petal here, 1 petal here, make it jagged on the edge. 1 petal here, like so. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but the white paint, what it does, as opposed to just using or adding water, it gives it a more opaque look, and it kind of gives it like this creamy kind of look, if that makes sense. Do a little one that ends there. So that's kind of the benefit to use. Like, you can create these beautiful pastel colors that are a bit more on the opaque side, like I said, by adding white. when I did this painting and I put it on my Instagram, people were asking me if I added gouache, which you could also do, but I did not for this. Might grab a bit more darker paint. Like this is folded up over here. You can go in the middle if you like so. There's one flower. Let's grab our peachy color. We'll do one over here. Okay, and the white watercolor just gives this like kind of like opaque pastel kind of look. Now, not everyone might like that. It's totally up to you, but that's the thing about art is that no one's there, or no one in my mind has the right to tell you what is the right way to do something and what is the wrong way. Some people are very passionate about the right way to paint with watercolor and, you know, you don't use white. But in my mind, why would you not use white if it's like a color that's made? Like in every brand, they always have like a white paint. So, I mean, it has to be used for something. So I say do whatever you like. But it definitely does give a different look to it. So just decide if that look is right for you. So there's our second one. I'm just leaving little bits of white space in between the two flowers. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow to this. Just get a different peachier color. We're gonna do 3. We're just making like these kind of jagged flower or petal shapes. Don't worry too much about it. We're just having fun with this one today. And what we're also going to do is we're going to create a background. I never usually paint a background. Like we're just going to paint a solid background, not like an actual picture in the background. But I don't tend to usually do that. And also with the shape of these flowers, if you can tell, I do 2 shorter petals at the bottom, and that just gives a different perspective on the flowers. So if you're wondering why some of the petals are shorter and look like that, it's to give a different perspective. I'm gonna grab a bit more, maybe add a little bit more pink there. Just make it a little bit darker at the bottom here. Like so. Okay. So I did that with my size 12 brush. We're gonna let that dry and then we can do some more detail over top. Now I'm gonna grab my size 6 brush and I'm gonna do some leaves using my olive green color. And remember, when you're doing leaves of a flower, stem, you want it to come right through to where that stamen is. If it's a little bit off, it's not going to look right. So kind of imagine the line, then touch down for your stem. Okay. Same here. This one's kind of going this way. Imagine it going right through the stamen, then touch down, like so. We can cross it if we like. Same thing over here. All right. And like I said, like these are Cosmo-ish flowers, but they don't have to be. You can change it up. Like the leaves don't necessarily look like this in a Cosmo, but I don't really care, to be honest. Do it however you like. We're just going to do some leaves coming up. You know what? I might even add a little bit of sap green to it. Okay, just have a little bit of fun, however you want your leaves to look. Got one coming behind here. Maybe one this way. It's kind of folded over. Why not, right? Have a little bit of fun with it. I'm going to take some of that pearline green. Just going to add some darkness. I might actually wait to do more of that when it's dry. like so. And we are going to do some more detail on the flowers once they're dry. But don't even worry about there being watermarks or anything. Just kind of have fun with it. Are these dry? Actually, these are quite dry. So we can do some stuff. Let's grab our size 2 brush. And we're going to make a little bit of a darker value of the color of these flowers. I'm going to grab some pink, grab a little bit maybe of this, I have this like maroonish color. And I'm just going to do some little lines. On the top and the bottom, why not? You can add any detail you like. No detail at all. You can make it look a bit more, you know, abstract by adding like watermarks and whatever you like. There are no rules with these paintings. We're just kind of having fun today. Just always make sure that if you are doing like little detailed lines like this, like these, like this, that they are curving with the shape of the petals. Like that, okay? If you want to add just some pink, you can even add some white there too if you want. Just taking some really light pink. Why not, right? A really light hand. Don't press down too hard, really light pressure. Grab some peach, add a little bit of pink to it. Do the same thing. I'm just going to add a little bit more pink. Just a little bit darker. And see, like, look at the watermarks in these leaves. Like, a lot of the time when I work on my loose florals, I try to avoid watermarks like that, but it doesn't matter, honestly. Just kind of play around, have fun with it. I'm going to add a little bit more darkness to maybe have one coming in front. Just add a little bit more shadow to it. Down one side of the leaf. We are just winging it today. Like so. Let's grab some yellow ochre for the center of our flowers. You just do some little dots. Nothing fancy. And then let's grab some white, just plain white. See if we can add some highlights on some of these flowers. Like, why not, right? Also adds a little bit more texture with more lines. Like so. Do some on the leaves if you want. All right, and now we're gonna do a background. So I'm gonna make a background color. I want to do like I'm gonna add a little bit of blue to this green. Grab some more white. I'm gonna grab some olive green. Just kind of mix it up. And I think that looks pretty. So for the background, I'm actually gonna kind of go around some of the petals like it's a smaller square than the actual flower. I just kind of like the way that looks. So I'm gonna do an outline like this. My head's in the way, of course. And don't worry about going around the flowers too neatly. I'm gonna leave a little bit of white space. And it just makes, the white watercolor makes the background look more opaque and matte, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? If you wanted to add like tape to have a really nice crisp border, you could do that too. There's no rules. Do it however you want. Just play around, have fun. See what looks good. See what you like. And I'm just using my size 12 brush with this. It has a good point to go around, but also covers a lot of surface area. So I'm not, I mean, if you do get like weird blooms, don't even worry about it. It just adds something to the background, but just helps kind of get around all these flowers a little bit easier when you can cover more surface area. Takes a little bit less time too. And hopefully I made enough of this color to go for the whole background, but you might have to remix, so you might want to think about mixing a decent amount of the background color before you get in there. And if you don't and you have to mix more and it doesn't match up, that's okay too. I love the colors. And it's fun to work with like pastel-y colors just to change it up. I do recommend that if you are a beginner, that you try and work without white watercolor. Only because it's really good to practice values, so the lightness or darkness of a color, by, you know, adding more water or adding more paint. I think it's a really good skill to have. So don't just like resort to white watercolor all the time. I mean, if that's the style of your paintings, go for it. But if you're kind of trying to learn different techniques and figure out what you like and what you don't like, try both. Try lightening your watercolor with water as well. I don't use white watercolor in a lot of my paintings, so a lot of my tutorials will not require that, but if you're starting to work on your own collection of and your own style and you like the white watercolor look, do whatever you want. But I definitely think it's a really good skill to have to learn how to lighten your watercolor with water. Am I just rambling? Probably. Hope this isn't too boring and it's kind of informative. I think next time I'll try and add like a taped border to get a nice crisp line. I think that would look better, but we'll see. We'll see. This could be a really pretty spring card as well. Kind of gets you in the mood with these colors. So the colors, again, that I mixed to get this kind of like minty green, I mixed my olive green with some perline green, a little bit of, I think, Winsor blue, and then white watercolor. But again, just play around with different colors, see what works, see what mixes well. The tip on this brush is great for getting in those small areas, even though it's a big brush. Almost done. And there we go. There is our pretty spring floral using white watercolor. Now there's some parts that I'm looking at that could go like a little bit darker. I might want to add a little bit more shadow. Totally up to you on what you see and what you like. Again, like, don't feel like it has to be the same. I just want it a little bit deeper in some areas. I'm going to grab my size 2 brush. You could always add some shadow, whatever. Just take a moment and just play around with different, you know, colors, values, anything. Just have some fun with it. Just want to darken up some of these lines. You just add some shadow if you wanted. Why not, right? A little bit more pink. Why not? Let's just kind of throw some more shadow. Just separating some of those petals with some darker shadows, like that. And I think that's pretty good. And there we go. There is our spring piece using white watercolor. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.